everybody. So today what we're going to do is we are going to transfer our drawing for our printmaking project onto our little rubber plate here. So as you can see, I have my little design. I like to draw on the black paper with the white pencil. That way I kind of get a good feel of what it's going to look like, because anywhere you cut on here, it's going to leave a white mark, especially if you are printing on white paper. So if I was to use a black ink, this was how my design would come out. So in order to do this properly, this design has to be backwards. So I'm not going to try to wing this. I want it to match my design pretty accurately. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a plate, you're going to need your design, a piece of tissue paper, and ebony pencil. This is a really soft leaded pencil and it leaves a lot of graphite, so that's why we're going to use the ebony pencil. And then you want a dull colored pencil. So I didn't get one with a really sharp point. I have a nice rounded point here. So it can be any color, but I found a nice green one that was pretty rounded, so I chose that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, grab your print, grab your ebony pencil, and you want to make sure you line it up nicely. It might be slightly off because of human error, so mine is just slightly off, but not enough for me to worry about it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start tracing out my design, and I'm going to fill in any of those thick marks. So one of the requirements for our project was you needed to have a variety of lines. So I wanted you to have thick lines and thin lines. So I'm going to make sure to color those areas in so I know exactly where I need to cut. So it does take a little bit of time here. It's okay if it's not exactly perfect, because I have an opportunity to fix this up once I transfer it onto the plate. So I did a kind of J design. Oh, I want to be careful that it doesn't shift. You could always tape it down too, but then you are at risk of ripping the tissue paper. So just try your best to hold it down with your non-dominant hand. Ah, shucks. So I am putting a good amount of pressure on here because I want a lot of graphite on so that when it goes to transfers nice and easily. Now some of these marks that I'm putting on here, I could actually freehand those on. Those aren't, big deals for me. But you want to, for the most part, get it close to your design. Like I said, when we go to we have to put, ooh, see, I told you how easy it transfers. We will eventually Sharpie this, so it's not such a big deal if things on here, for example, are a little off. Oop, there we go again. So like these lines over here, that's actually no big deal. I could probably freehand those on. Oop, shucks. Struggling today, friends. Okay. This line, yep. Okay, great. So now, small, gross, but anyway, I'm going to take this, and this is super important, guys. Maybe I'll use this side now that it's nice and clean. I'm going to take this, and I am going to flip it over. You have to flip it over. We want this thing to be backwards. Now comes the time where you can tape this down. That's not too shabby of an idea. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of tape, because after this, I am not going to need this tissue paper. So if it rips, no big deal. So I'm going to try my best to make sure it's all nice and centered. That looks pretty good. Tape it down. Tape it down. Okay, this is where that pencil comes into play. The reason I chose a colored pencil is so that I can see exactly where I've already drawn. If I did it on the black again with the same color, it might be kind of difficult to see where I've already marked. So I'm just kind of quickly going over everything, and I don't want it to shift too much. Now again, you want to use a dull pencil. I don't know if you guys can see, it's already kind of tearing through my paper over here. Not the end of the world, but not ideal either. And it's actually okay if you don't get it exactly, if you go off of the design, just as long as you're hitting those marks. So you can be, I don't want to say sloppy, but you don't have to be as precise. I'm just trying to use that pressure to push that pencil down onto our plate. Oh, might have to freehand that. Oh, yeah. Okay, almost done. Great. Hopefully it's all good. Just a few more areas. Okay, awesome. So hopefully, I'm just going to kind of, so as you can see, I'm just going to peel it back just a little just to make sure it did its job. It looks like it did, because once you peel this off, you can't get it back on, or it's really hard to like center it back on. Yay! That looks great. Okay, so this is super smudgy right now, so as you can see, I'm just kind of moving it. You can see that it's rubbing off. I don't want that to happen, so what I'm going to do is I am going to grab a Sharpie so that I can make it a little bit more permanent. That way my hand doesn't mess things up. Now, it's a little bit off, so this is where I'm going to take that opportunity to kind of make sure that my design is back on track. Point there. Oh, there should be a little more gap there, but that's okay, I guess. Luckily, it doesn't take too long. Alright, so I had some areas over here that didn't quite make it on, so I'm just actually going to freehand that part and kind of shift it back on so that it is on my plate. Like I had a little arrow and I had some lines, so I might shift these over. Because MS isn't perfect when cutting these. They might be slightly off. Ooh, little triangle here, I think. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, beautiful. And now it's good to go. And now my plate is ready to start carving. All right, so take a look at my next video and get ready to move on.